Christianity was never a religion before year 380 to CE. From 30 CE to 70 to CE it was a sectarian. They call themselves as believers of the way. Acts chapter 9 verse 2, and asked him for letters to the synagogues in Damascus, authorizing him to arrest any people he might find, whether men or women, who belonged to the way, and bring them back to Jerusalem. Acts chapter 24 verse 5 and verse 14 and 28 verse 22 they were Nazarene, or sect of Judaism. 2 Thessalonians 2:15 and 3:16 their main issue was culture and tradition. The life according to the culture mandated in the Torah entered Jewish synagogues. They kept the Torah, but the only difference between Nazarene or believers of the way and Judaism was Yeshua. 2 Thessalonians 2:15 says therefore, brothers, stand firm, and hold to the traditions you were taught by us, whether we spoke them or wrote them in a letter. Their issue was tradition based on culture. When the temple got destroyed in 70 CE, the Jews led a revolt and occupied Jerusalem in 66 CE, initiating the First Roman-Jewish War. In 70 CE, the Romans reclaimed Jerusalem and destroyed the Second Temple with only a portion of the western wall remaining, though recent archaeological discoveries date portions of the wall to later periods. In Judea, the temple was destroyed and never rebuilt, which instigated a new form of Judaism, Rabbinic Judaism. Rabbis were now the focal point of the religion, taking over from the high priest. The Jewish council at Yapni down at Tiberias view believers of the way as called out once, and moved them from sectarianism to a movement within Judaism. The believers now call themselves Church. Sect of Judaism 30 CE to 70 CE 70 CE to 136 CE Ecclesiastical movement. According to the Epistle of Ignatius to the Smyrnaeans Chapter 1, the church based in Antioch, and it was called Antioca Ecclesiastica Catolica. From Yeshua to 70 CE, the sect of Nazarene based in Jerusalem under the leadership of James, Justus, Zacchaeus, Nicodemus, Benjamin, John, Mataias, Philip, Seneca, Justus, Levi, Judah, Ephraim and Jude. After Jews escaped to Pella in 70 CE, there was no Jew to lead the church, so Mark, a Gentile, took over the Jewish leadership and shifted the headquarter from Jerusalem to Antioch. They still maintained Jewishness of worship, but raised doubt on social issues. So Ignatius, a Gentile of Antioch, who was the bishop of the church according to the Epistle of Ignatius to the Smyrnaeans, they replaced sectarianism to Ecclessia, and renamed Nazarene to Antioca Ecclesiastica Catholica. They remain believers of the way. Their common issues were based on social issues. They talk mostly on social life. They talk about marriage, how weddings should be conducted. The Epistle of Ignatius Chapter 2 verse 10, but it becomes all such as are married, whether men or women, to come together with the consent of the bishop, that so their marriage may be according to godliness, and not in lust. They debate on baptism formula and communion. They shifted the idea of breaking of bread in homes to communion in the church. According to Acts chapter 2 verses 42 and 46 says, they continued faithfully in the teaching of the emissaries, in fellowship, in breaking bread and in the prayers, continuing faithfully and with singleness of purpose to meet in the temple courts daily, and breaking bread in their several homes. They shared their food in joy and simplicity of heart. In the Epistle of Ignatius to Smyrna chapter 3 states, is not lawful without the bishop, neither to baptize, nor to celebrate the communion or holy feast. But whatsoever he shall approve of, that is also pleasing unto God, that so whatever is done, may be sure and well done. Bar Kokhba Revolt, also called Second Jewish Revolt, 13 to 135 C, Jewish rebellion against Roman rule in Judea. The revolt was preceded by years of clashes between Jews and Romans in the area. Nazarene modern Messianic was a sect of Judaism under the name Nazarene or Nazarenui between 30 to 85 ACE. Existed as a movement between 86 ACE under the Sanhedrins at Tiberias, headed by Yochanan ben Zakkai. Nazarene was regarded as a movement known as Notzra movement under Judaism until 133 ACE. Emperor Hadrian separated Nazarenes from Judaism, renamed Christians. That was time Christianity began to drift away from its roots. It was the birthing of replacement theology. Christianity was seen as a way of life, instead of the believers of the way separated from Judaism from 133 ACE to 313 ACE, when Emperor Constantine legalized Christianity. Emperor Theodosius in 380 officially declared Christianity as a state religion. The paganism of Christendom becomes an epidemic that produces replacement theology, which is a system of anti-Semitism. Coming up next, what happened after 136 CE to 380 to CE. Click like and subscribe to channel. Click notification bell to be notified on the next video on the continuation of this subject.